Hey everyone, and welcome to my Fire Temple challenge for Ocarina of Time. No Goron Tunic, that is the challenge. I'm going to start off with Aurora's Winds. I got this challenge requested by a few people, to be fair. I think the original request was like, he said, oh yeah, do this, and he did it with 15 to 18 hearts and used Ice Arrows as well, I believe he said. Which is pretty mad, so I thought, fuck that, let's take it to the next level. So that's what we're doing now. The only thing I'm really taking with me is the Goron Sword and Fairy Bow. Kind of the only two key items, and that's for fighting Volvagia. For Aurora's Wind I'm using, you don't obviously have to use it, but it certainly makes it a lot easier than saving and exiting. So the timer in this game is actually based off how many hearts you have, so if you take damage, you lose time when you re-enter a room. So although I have 8 hearts total, it's not based on that, it's actually based on the 6.5 hearts I have currently. So it's 8 seconds per heart, or if you want to break it down, it'd be 2 seconds per quarter. So that's how the timer works. And it starts off pretty simple in fairness. We're going to get the first 2 keys. The challenge itself isn't too difficult, but there are like a few tricks here and there which I use. I'd say the hardest part is maybe fighting Volvagia in fairness, but you'll see that I can make easy work of that as well as we get towards the end of the challenge. But yeah, we're going to grab the first 2 keys to start off with, and this is still pretty standard. And every time you enter a room and come out of it, it resets the timer based on what health you have. So if I were to lose health in this room now, go into that door and come back out, my timer would reset to the new thing. So if I lost half a heart, it would go down from, what was it, 54 seconds I think it is, to 50 seconds. So we've got our second key now. So this room isn't particularly difficult, so yeah, we've got 52 seconds, that's what it was. So this room isn't particularly difficult, it's just about manoeuvring and making sure you do it within the timer. And as you can see, there is plenty of time. Even to get to this next room, there's still plenty of time to achieve it. I'd be willing to see how far this challenge could be taken. I went in with 6.5 hearts, or 8. Let's say 8 hearts, because, you know, I do pick up hearts as well. Let's say 8 hearts. It'd be interesting to see how much further you could take that. I reckon it's probably achievable with maybe 5 hearts, maybe. I think 5 hearts would be the challenge. I think a 3 heart may be possible, but I don't know. You'd start with 5 at least to see where it goes. I don't know if you could kill Volvagia within that time without using maybe like a wrong shot method, or maybe the 3-1 bomb, whatever it is. Here's the first trick I'm going to use actually. If you Z-target this wall, roll over, you get a perfect angle to look up, pull out a bomb, target, hold left, let go of the control stick and target. And then as soon as you clip through, hold left. Because if you don't, you'll fall through. So hold left once you clip through. I can make a separate video explaining that further if anyone wants to see that. But that is how you do the block skip consistently. There's several methods to do it. That is the most consistent method I've found to use. But there are others out there. I just personally like that one. It gives you a good angle straight away as you jump over. But that does certainly help with doing this. You can skip a couple of keys, let's say. And it's not too difficult either. It's been a trick which has been known for quite a long time in fairness. Just about finding that consistency. Here it's quite important that you don't fall down, because if you fall down you're going to run out of keys, because you're going to need to unlock this door, and I think it might be another door as well, I don't remember exactly. But if you fall down you'll have to unlock the door to get out of it, which isn't ideal. Although there is a key down there you could grab as well, so you know, it wouldn't be the end of the world, so you could just grab an extra key, but it's just best not to. You want to complete this challenge with the fewest keys possible, really. And this guy decides to be a dick and hit me, but whatever. So I'm lining up my angles perfectly because I don't want to be falling down there. I'm going to grab some hearts here just to heal up. I actually found this to be quite a fun little challenge to do, so I'm glad this was requested. Requested by a few people, but yeah, the first one I mentioned earlier gave me quite an explanation on how he killed Vavagir with ice arrows, and he said, I'm pretty sure he said he had about 15 to 18 hearts, or something like that. But I wanted to see if we could take it to the next level. Again, I think it could be taken further. I think it may be possible to do it with as few as 5 hearts. Maybe 3. Again, using some methods to kill Vavagir, it's possible. More Aurora's Winds, I'm sure, as well. And I'm going into this room to set up my next trick. And literally, when we open this door, we're going to do a dry roll, which is just Z-targeting and doing a straight roll. Pulling out the hook shot and just lining up to the right of this pillar here, like so. I'm just going to turn around, do a back walk, and as you can see, we walk through the firewalls before they can even get us. So again, it's another door that we've managed to skip, which saves a bit of time. The whole idea is to get the Megaton Hammer and then go and fight Vavagir. And of course I am aware that you can do like boss key skips. I got a comment on that in my Water Temple video. I'm fully aware that you can just skip boss keys and go and fight the boss straight away, but that isn't really the point of the challenge, because realistically I could go and fight Ganon, or you don't even need to fight Ganon anymore. You can beat this game in like 5 minutes now. It's ridiculous, but that's not the point. The point of the challenge was to go through, get the item, kill the boss, which is exactly what I'm doing here. And yeah, we've got our first mini boss. I can't remember what they're called, like Necro Dancers maybe, or Flame Dancers, or some silly name like that. Not a particularly difficult boss. Again, obviously helps to have the bigger on swords. This is mainly for Vavagir though, but obviously any enemy it helps with because it's stronger than a Master Sword. This guy decides to jump right on my noggin. You get some nice crouch stabs here. You have to fight 2 of these. But obviously not too difficult. So as you can see, I haven't really mentioned it up to this point, but a lot of these rooms don't even have a timer. It tends to be the rooms simply with lava in. And other ones like this simply do not have a timer, so you can go through wearing the regular tunic all you like. So we're going to go ahead and actually grab the Megaton Hammer, and then we're going to use Aurora's Wind to walk back. Now you don't have to use Aurora's Wind at all, you can obviously save an exit, but you don't even have to do that. If you wanted to, you could knock the pillar all the way down, but this saves a lot of time using Aurora's Wind, as you're about to see, because we're going to head straight back into the first room, skipping most of what you have to do where you knock down the pillar and then use it to jump across to the boss key, or the boss door I should say. But we'll get to that shortly. We're warping back now, and now we actually need to get the boss key. So really the main items you need to use are the Megaton Hammer, which you get in this, bombs, which you'll already have as well, and the hook shot, which again you'll already have by now as well. It's also possible to do this without going to the Forest Temple first, but I chose to do that simply because it makes it easier to have the bow fight Vavagir. I think if I didn't have the bow to fight Vavagir, I would probably get more hearts to do it, because the bow is actually quite an essential item for the fight. I mean, you could use the hook shot, but the hook shot is very slow and you'd have to be quite accurate with it. I don't think you could Z-target Volvagia while she's flying around. It simply wouldn't work. So I think you'd probably want more hearts if you're going to do it without the bow and do the Fire Temple first. But I decided to do the Forest Temple first to get the bow. Now here's the second time we'll fight this Flame Dancer. There'll be a lot of crouch stabs in this one. Overall, I'd say this challenge was not too difficult. I think the hardest part is probably the Volvagia fight, which we'll get to, but overall, not too bad, because the timer is quite forgiving, providing you have a certain amount of hearts at the very least. And most of the runs don't even have a timer at all, so it just makes it a lot easier for you. I'd say the Water Temple one was harder because there's more tricks involved to do it. But I thought this was a very interesting challenge, to be honest. And I'm glad it was requested. So the next part is actually getting to Volvagia without the pillar being there, which is actually kind of a difficult trick, but due to the amount of time you have, there isn't really much that can go wrong. You've got a lot of time to recover. See, I've got a minute here because I've got 7.5 hearts, and with this minute, even if I screw the trick up, I have time, because literally we're going to go down here and we're going to do a specific jump, and I think I do actually miss it if I remember right, the first time at least. Yeah, so I miss it, and all you can see that happens is I fall into the lava, and I just have to get back up. But the second time I hit it, and it's simply getting down here and doing a precise roll to hit the exact point. It's one of those tricky jumps. Again, it was similar to the one in the Water Temple challenge. We'll be able to get to that third water level to change it. It's one of those tricky jumps that you just would do, and you know, that one has a lot more room for error than the Water Temple one, at least. So Volvagia is interesting because you need to actually... I used the Big Iron Sword to get the hit in, and I made sure that I jumped slash with the Big Iron Sword to get a certain amount of damage, and then while Volvagia is flying in the air, hit her twice with arrows. If I don't hit her twice, that's it, it's done. So I either need to hit her twice with arrows, or once with an arrow and then once with a sword. Doesn't matter, as long as she's hit twice while she's in the air or coming out of the hole or going back into the hole before she starts the next phase, then that's fine. So it starts off pretty normal here. She comes out one of the holes, break the shield with the Megaton Hammer, do a jump slash with the Big Iron Sword, which is big damage because the Big Iron Sword is powerful. And then here I even need to hit with the sword as she comes out, which I don't. So now I need to hit her twice with arrows. So there's once there. There's another time. So I've hit her twice, so I know that I've done my job there. If you don't hit it twice, it's over and I don't have enough time. It's as simple as that. So it has to be done. So once she does that 3 pattern, you know you've done it. Literally hit again with the Megaton Hammer to break the shields and do a jump slash with the Big Iron Sword, and it's done. So that is the challenge completed. So thank you for requesting that. There were several people who did. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any other sort of questions, you know, go ahead and ask them, or any other challenges, you know, I'll be happy to look at some different challenges as well. But this was definitely an interesting one. And there's the terrible warp texture on Project 64 for you. It does look bloody awful. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in whatever I decide to make next.